Our culture is obsessed with buying things. It used to be about houses and cars, but when the millennials grew up, we decided that was stupid. We would rather spend on experiences than material things, like lattes, travel, and weddings. Gen Z took this to the next level. Why even bother with going out anymore when you can hang out in virtual worlds and trade cryptocurrencies and NFTs? Spending money is a natural way of rewarding ourselves for our hard work. But something feels so wrong when you can't even play a video game anymore without having to sit through ads every 30 seconds. The entire meaning of life has been reduced down to what can we buy next? No wonder the average American makes 3 impulsive purchases every week and spends $5,400 every year on things they didn't plan to buy. In this video, I want to share my personal struggles with this consumerist culture and the actions I am taking to fight against it. Hi, my name is Alan and I am about to get married. I have this idea in my head of what my dream wedding looks like, but it's an idea with a hefty price tag. Some preliminary research shows me that a wedding that looks something like this can cost anywhere between $40K to $80K, and that feels shamefully wasteful for a single day experience. So how do I stop myself from wanting it? I used to think that my problem was a lack of discipline, but that's absurd. We are humans. We want things. Maybe you want pizza and I want dumplings. The more we think about what we want, the more we want it. Fighting your wants with pure willpower is fruitless. So I revisited my Psychology of Money book for some wisdom, and right there in the opening chapter is a story about the author's experience working as a valet at a luxury hotel. One day, a man pulled up in a Ferrari. The author, Morgan, looked at the other valets and realized that instead of being impressed by the man, the other valets just admired the car and fantasized it about driving it themselves. That's when it hit him. Expensive purchases don't make people admire you. They make people admire the thing, often while imagining themselves in your place. It made me realize a big part of my desire to have an expensive wedding is so that people will think highly of me. But if people are just going to be fantasizing about their own weddings, it kind of defeats the point. I can never buy what other people think of me, but I can live with integrity and buy things that align with my own values. One of my values is to live frugally, but just because it's a value does not make it the purpose of life. Right now, I'm thinking of my grandmother. She worked diligently for the Communist Party of China her whole life. Now in her 80s, she's financially secure, having been compensated with multiple houses and a monthly pension that exceeds her monthly expenses. Yet, whenever we FaceTime, she laments about how she can't spend all that money anymore. She advises me not to work so hard and to make time to enjoy life while I'm still young and healthy. In another book titled Die with Zero, the author emphasizes exactly that. While it's important to build up a sizable safety cushion, there will come a point when you've oversaved and most of your money is almost guaranteed to follow you to the grave. The book advises proactive financial planning and actually spending money earlier rather than later. Start giving your children money now. Start donating to charity now. Take a vacation. You can do all these things on a smaller scale for a much longer period of time. So why wait until you die? Many of the things we want to buy are also enveloped in a purpose. For example, I want to buy a $2,000 camera so I can make videos about intentional living. It's easy to confuse these two concepts. You don't need a $2,000 camera to produce videos about intentional living. What you need is to spend time to create the videos. I made videos for 800 hours before I purchased this $2,000 camera with a $1,000 lens on top. I am now using it to log the next 800 hours. When you reframe your purchases as the reward for putting the hours in, you can redirect your attention from the buying to the doing. That might sound obvious, but billions of corporate dollars are being invested to reverse your psychology. If you read between the lines of any advertisement you see, it's always the same story. You have a problem, and here's something you can buy to solve it. Or you have an identity, and here's something you can buy to represent it. I'm Chinese, so maybe I should buy this $30 premium dumpling steamer to show the world how Chinese I am. It's absurd. I can be Chinese, I'm already Chinese, and I can also make significant progress towards solving a problem long before I have to buy anything. What I need to do is to shift my attention from the buying to the doing. For solo hobbies like making videos or playing guitar, you buy once and there's a whole lot you can do in between before you have to buy anything else. But for other hobbies like going out to eat or attending music festivals with friends, You kind of have to buy before you can do it, otherwise they wouldn't let you in. And if you keep saying no to your friends because you don't want to spend, your friends are eventually just going to stop inviting you. A common piece of advice here is to let go of these frivolous friends. They're not your people. But I disagree. Good friendships are never perfect, but they do take many, many years to form. And as you get busier in life, these connections become increasingly rare. Also, spending money and doing seemingly stupid things together are often part of what made the connection click in the first place. While I think there's always a time and place for letting go of toxic people in your lives, it's still something that should be considered with extreme care. People's spending habits are rarely the one thing that makes them super toxic. Instead of letting go of friends, I recommend diversifying your social network. So you can keep the friend who likes to go eat at Michelin star restaurants, but you also need to make some friends like myself who does nothing all day except to make YouTube videos at home. Gives you a legitimate excuse so you can say to your Michelin star friend, sorry, I can't eat with you next weekend because I'm hanging out with Alan to drink tea for free and talk about YouTube videos. In my own life, my fiance is the one who keeps me in check. I often have this urge to go on a week-long splurge at a fancy ski resort where I overpay for everything. Erica has a different idea of what a good time could be. I can still have a few days of downhill skiing, but we're also going to spend a day cross-country skiing with our dog off-leash. For free, playing in the snow for free. Can you believe it? It's easy to get stuck in the trap of looking up to people who have more spending power than you do and loving the things that they do. But even these people would rather be admired for their personality than to be admired for how they spend their money. The moral of the story is to have a diverse set of friends who can open your mind up to different ways of enjoying life. So let's bring it back to my desire to buy a wedding and run it through everything I've learned through my reflections. First question to ask is, are we doing this to impress other people? I think the answer is a resounding no. The follow-up question is, do we intrinsically even want a wedding, or have we been brainwashed to want one? Speaking for myself, I believe I'm very brainwashed. Some people believe in God, I believe in weddings. That's truly how deep it goes. And remember, rewiring your brain by sheer willpower is quite fruitless. So we should move on to the other questions. The third question is, did we work on our love for a prolonged period of time before deciding to buy the wedding? I think it's quite obvious that a wedding is not going to make your relationship any stronger, and it's not going to make you any better of a person than who you already are. We should always do first before buying. So did we do enough love to earn our wedding? I think the answer is a resounding yes. Fourth question is, are the guests we invite to celebrate our wedding with us frivolous people who are going to judge us for not impressing them enough? As I said before, friends are friends. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and I'm happy to have everyone at my wedding. But when you have a diversified social network, it's also perfectly reasonable for some people to sit out on a wedding they're not going to enjoy and help us bring the costs down. The people we want at our wedding are people who are just happy to be there to celebrate with us, to laugh with us, to roll around in the mud with us. Roll around in the mud? Toshi says yes. This is the checklist I run through every time I want to buy something. In this particular case, we ultimately decided we are going to buy a wedding. But buying is never the ultimate goal. Buying is a means to an end. It's unfortunate that these means have become so easily accessible and so addictive. There used to be a time before online shopping, before made-in-China products flooded the country, before millennials placed a premium on experiences. There used to be a time when there just wasn't quite as many things to buy and things were much cheaper. But with a little intention, we can still reshape our lives to make it more about serving a purpose and less of an endless shopping spree. So what makes a meaningful purpose? That is a deep philosophical question. Sometimes I look at my dog and I realize that her purpose in life is to destroy. But if destroyers rule the world, then there will be nothing left for her to destroy. So perhaps a meaningful purpose for myself is to create things. So Toshi has something to destroy. Toshi and I are going to go find something to destroy, but if you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Actually, maybe you don't. The thing to do is to leave a comment so Toshi can eat it up.